shown to be necessary for societal survival. The human reproductive asymmetry created an unavoidable power dynamic that all successful civilizations had to address. Women's reproductive capacity is limited, with only about 400 viable eggs in a lifetime and declining fertility after age 30, while men can theoretically father thousands of children. This biological reality made female fertility an extremely valuable and potentially destabilizing resource. Religious systems worldwide developed sophisticated mechanisms to manage this resource, including marriage systems, modesty codes, and sexual morality laws. These weren't merely about control, but about preventing the chaos that ensues when reproduction becomes unregulated, from paternity disputes to violent conflicts over mates. Before modern DNA testing, the only way to ensure legitimate heirs and stable inheritance systems was through strict control of female sexuality. Every major civilization that developed complex legal and property systems, from ancient Mesopotamia to imperial China, created religious and legal structures to guarantee paternity. The Code of Hammurabi, from around 1750 BCE, prescribed death for adulterous women, while ancient Hebrew law mandated stoning for premarital sex. These harsh measures reflected how critical bloodline purity was for maintaining social order, preventing resource disputes, and ensuring proper succession in royal and aristocratic lineages. Left to natural inclinations, women tend toward hypergamy, seeking the highest status mates available. Historical records and anthropological studies show that unchecked hypergamy leads to a small elite of males monopolizing reproductive access while leaving many men without mating opportunities. This creates dangerous social instability, a pattern observable from ancient Rome, where elite patricians maintained harems while plebeians revolted, to medieval Europe. Religions developed systems like arranged marriages, caste endogamy, and monogamy norms to distribute women more evenly across the male population, preventing the build-up of resentful, unmated males who could threaten social order. Marriage in traditional societies was never primarily about romantic love. It was an economic institution crucial for survival. Religious marriage systems ensured that women's reproductive and domestic labor was properly allocated to support agricultural production, child-rearing, and craft specialization. In medieval Europe, the Catholic Church's strict monogamy rules prevented wealthy men from hoarding multiple wives, ensuring more equitable distribution of women's economic contributions across society. These systems, while restrictive by modern standards, provided stability that allowed civilizations to flourish. Honor was tied to female chastity. Religious restrictions on women were often framed as protective measures, safeguarding them from predatory men, wartime violence, or social disgrace. While containing elements of truth, this protection came at the cost of autonomy. The Hindu caste system, Islamic purdah, and Victorian-era chaperonage all operated on this principle. Women gained physical security and economic support in exchange for accepting male authority and restricted freedoms. This system persisted because it served practical needs in dangerous pre-industrial societies where unprotected women faced genuine existential threats. The extraordinary value placed on female virginity across religions, from Christianity's veneration of the Virgin Mary to Chinese foot-binding practices, reflected rational, if extreme, reproductive strategies. Ensuring a woman had no prior sexual partners guaranteed her future husband exclusive reproductive access. Jewish mikveh rituals, Islamic Iddah waiting periods, and Catholic confession systems all developed as mechanisms to verify and maintain female sexual purity. This was crucial in societies where family lineage determined inheritance, alliances, and social status. The early modern European witch hunts that killed an estimated 60,000 women weren't merely superstition. They targeted women who operated outside male religious authority. Midwives, herbal healers, and unmarried women represented alternative sources of female power that threatened the Church's monopoly on knowledge and morality. By eliminating these independent women, religious authorities reinforced the message that female existence required male mediation and control for social stability. Female beauty has always been recognized as a potent, disruptive force, capable of toppling empires, distracting rulers, and inciting violent competition. Religious modesty codes, from Islamic hijabs to Christian wifely submission doctrines, developed to neutralize this power. The Book of Proverbs warns repeatedly about the seductress, while Buddhist texts associate female beauty with spiritual distraction. These weren't merely misogynistic tropes, but pragmatic responses to beauty's demonstrated capacity to disrupt social hierarchies. And military cohesion. Religious texts universally express deep anxiety about uncontrolled female sexuality. From Eve's temptation in Genesis to Pandora's box in Greek myth, these stories encode a cultural memory of how female sexual autonomy can disrupt social order. Anthropological research shows that societies with looser sexual norms tend toward higher rates of male violence, kinship confusion, and social fragmentation. This explains why religions developed such elaborate systems to channel female sexuality into marital bonds. With mothers as primary caregivers, religions recognized that controlling women meant controlling cultural transmission. The Jewish mother passing on traditions, the Hindu woman performing household pujas, the Christian mother teaching prayers, all served to ensure religious continuity. Strict gender roles ensured children were raised with proper values, making female regulation essential for civilizational survival in pre-literate societies where oral tradition was paramount. In the constant warfare characterizing pre-modern societies, women were both vulnerable targets and valuable spoils. Religious laws developed to manage this reality. Kosher and halal rules preventing marriage with captured women, Hindu laws against widow remarriage, and Christian insistence on monogamy all served to maintain ethnic and religious purity in conquest situations. These restrictions, while limiting female autonomy, helped preserve cultural identity during turbulent times. Contemporary women enjoy unprecedented legal rights and personal freedoms, yet report higher rates of anxiety, depression, and dissatisfaction than previous generations. This paradox suggests that while religious restrictions were undoubtedly oppressive, they provided clear social scripts, defined purposes, and community support that many modern women find lacking. The trade-off between autonomy and meaning remains an unresolved challenge of post-religious societies. Our biology remains adapted to ancestral environments where religious and cultural systems tightly regulated mating. Today's dating free-for-all, while offering more choice, has created new problems, from rising male loneliness to fertility crises in developed nations. This suggests traditional systems, for all their flaws, may have been better adapted to human nature than our current experiment in radical individualism. Modern feminism has rightly exposed the oppressive aspects of religious gender controls, but often fails to acknowledge the evolutionary pressures that created them. Dismissing all traditional systems as mere patriarchy ignores the complex adaptive challenges they evolved to address. A more nuanced understanding recognizes both the oppressive nature and the functional logic behind these historical systems. As society moves beyond traditional religious frameworks, we must develop new systems that balance female autonomy with social stability. This might involve reinventing community structures, creating new cultural narratives about gender roles, or developing technologies that mitigate old biological imperatives. The challenge is preserving the benefits of freedom while avoiding the pitfalls of complete deregulation. Examining why religions regulated female nature isn't about justifying oppression, but about understanding the deep evolutionary and sociological forces that shaped human civilization. These systems emerged as solutions to real problems of social organization, even as they limited individual freedoms. As we create new models for society, we must learn from both their strengths and their failures, recognizing that human flourishing requires balancing autonomy with responsibility, freedom with order, and individual rights with communal needs. The historical record shows that societies that lose this balance rarely endure.